Only a few days ago, Ubisoft did their yearly Forward event showing off their future games like Skull and Bones, Division expansions, Rainbow Six Mobile, but they also announced Assassin's Creed Mirage, which was actually leaked a few weeks ago, and we've been very excited to see gameplay, to get some more hard news on this title. But we just got some major new information about the game, primarily that it's the first Ubisoft title ever to get an adults-only rating because of real gambling. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So starting with this Gamer article, it says Assassin's Creed Mirage has been rated adults only by the ESRB for real gambling, and we know that Ubisoft is a company that is willing to push the limits as much as they possibly can. They don't really care about what consumers want as long as they are still making money off of their games, but it seems like they have pushed their luck a little bit too far this time. It says Assassin's Creed Mirage has been rated adults only by the ESRB due to it containing real gambling. This implies that it'll feature loot boxes of some kind and also makes it the first game developed by Ubisoft to receive such a high age rating. It says Ubisoft held its first Forward event showcase of the year, providing updates on games like Mario Rabbids, The Division Heartlands, and Just Dance 2023. Of course, the highlight of the show was the Assassin's Creed 15th Anniversary Showcase, which revealed several new titles in development, including next year's game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, which was presented as more of a traditional experience for the series, and people were initially very excited about this game. If we go on over to Ubisoft's YouTube account, they uploaded this world premiere, of course. It's got over 2 million views, 116,000 likes, and only 5,000 dislikes. So clearly people saw this world premiere and were initially very excited for it. I mean, hearing that they are going back to their roots and they're trying to give us a more traditional Assassin's Creed experience is very exciting for me. I have loved Assassin's Creed over the years. Unfortunately, the past few games didn't really do it for me. I didn't love them as much as I loved the previous games like 1, 2. But I still think that going back and creating a traditional experience can make them money and can kind of bring older players back into this franchise and get people excited to play another Assassin's Creed title. But unfortunately, no matter how good an initial announcement looks, that doesn't mean that the final product will be great. We have gotten some very worrying information about this title. It says one detail that was easy to miss in all of the excitement was that the ESRB has rated Mirage AO, which stands for Adults Only, due to its real gambling. This rating could be spotted during the reveal trailer and can now be seen on the Xbox's store listing, which seems to imply that it's legitimate and not some kind of mistake. There's also no mention of it being a temporary or provisional rating, so it seems set unless Ubisoft changes something. Now, of course, we don't know when this was given an adults-only rating, but behind the scenes, Ubisoft has to be freaking out over this a little bit. Companies see new ways to monetize their games, and they're constantly pushing limits, seeing how far they're able to go with scummy models, and Ubisoft is very well known for being a generally very scummy company, but knowing they've pushed the line this far is a bit surprising because usually companies know they'll face backlash from consumers, but to get an adult-only rating from the ESRB is a massive blow for them. This is going to severely damage the amount of sales they can get just because of stores and physical products. Adults-only games aren't sold in places like GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, Target. This game won't be on store shelves, and yes, games do bring in money via digital copies, but those physical sales still matter. And plenty of online platforms don't list adult-only titles, which could hurt their digital sales as well. Now, of course, they haven't made a statement on this. We do not know if it specifically got this adults only rating over the gambling, but one would assume it is because of the real gambling tag that this title has, because even other games with loot boxes, with tons of microtransactions, don't say real gambling. Now, of course, they still have plenty of time to adjust the content in this game, so they could try to alter the monetization system to hopefully get a mature rating, though if they can't come up with a new system quickly, they might even need to delay this game, and there's always a chance they can't get an M for mature. But it definitely seems that the ESRB is fed up with giving games lesser ratings when there's predatory monetization systems. Again, this rating could still change if Ubisoft changes the content, but we don't know if that will happen. The article goes on to talk about the history of adults-only ratings, and it says by real gambling, the ESRB means in-game virtual gambling that you can spend real-world money on. Of course, if a game like Assassin's Creed Mirage has this system in the game, I will not be supporting it. No matter how much I love a franchise, if a game has legitimate gambling in it, I'm not going to purchase it. I'm not going to support it. It says the official descriptor for the content warning on the ESRB states that it is when a player can gamble, including betting or wagering real cash or currency. Comparatively, simulated gambling is where a player can gamble without betting or wagering real cash or currency. Now, at this point, we don't know what this gambling system is going to be, but it's just crazy to me to know that they put it into an Assassin's Creed game. I have no clue what this system is going to be. But, of course, we have seen Ubisoft and other companies push limits over the past few years with things like gambling and loot boxes. I mean, this was an article back from 2021, but it says games with loot boxes to be officially banned for minors in Germany. And then we have this one from 2020, FIFA packs confirmed as form of gambling in the Netherlands. We are seeing a lot of different places, a lot of countries come out and ban things like loot boxes, confirm things like FIFA packs as forms of gambling. These companies are continuously pushing the limits, and now we're seeing even the ESRB fight back and say, you know what, enough is enough. You are going to get high ratings if you are going to put just straight up real gambling into a title. As I just showed, we have seen over in Europe some countries putting laws into place regarding loot boxes, or as they call it, just gambling in video games. There has been talk about legislation in the United States over these topics, but nothing has happened yet. The ESRB was created back in 1994 in response to criticism and possible government oversight of sexual content and violence in video games. It was an attempt to keep the government out of regulating what content went into games, and it was successful. The ESRB could be making an attempt at heading off any regulations in the US against video games that use loot boxes or anything that could be considered gambling by using their toughest rating score, which is an adult only, which has usually only been given to games with sexual content or over-the-top realistic violence. I think by giving this rating, it will scare Ubisoft and maybe other companies to get back in line and to stop pushing monetization boundaries. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.